I feel sorry for the developers working at Ubisoft. I really do. When they're not dealing with crunch, they are dealing with nasty abuse from the higher-ups with complete impunity from their CEO. And then there's having their full potential often held back because of a nasty status quo in their design that makes their games look very samey. Dead Living Zombies strikes me as a good example of how the internal turmoil of the dev team can reflect on the overall quality of the content they release. This doesn't mean this DLC is 100% bad. There is some stuff to like about it, but at the same time, there is a fair share of things that rub me the wrong way about it. Unlike Hours of Darkness and Lost on Mars, Dead Living Zombies is a compilation of ideas. Plot-wise, we follow Guy Marvel, a joke character from the main campaign as he bugs multiple Hollywood directors to pitch his ideas for zombie movies. The punchline to this joke is that Guy is pitching material good enough for video game levels, but complete trash for movies, and that humor is hit or miss depending on the person. Each of the 7 scenarios have 2 versions. A story version with Guile detailing his ideas, while arguing with the directors along the way.
During the day. Night. Day! Night! I'm gonna just have to put my foot down! This whole movie takes place over the course of 1 day! Got it? That is it! Fine.
And a more arcadey score attack mode where you have to beat the levels in the time limit and beat the high scores to unlock some loot for the main campaign. This is where the behind-the-scenes problems start to stick out to me. Every one of these levels comes off as ideas they were putting together for a proper zombies campaign, but either because they ran out of time or couldn't make up their minds for it, they decided to just make them into short 5 to 10 minute long levels. Because of this, none of the levels have checkpoints. If you die at any point, you have to start the entire level all over again. This gets especially worse in the score attack mode, where you can be having a great time raking up the points, but then because you died at the last minute you have to repeat the last 10 minutes of gameplay. Making this even worse is the rating system. To earn 3 stars and get some unlockable masks and weapon skins for the main campaign, you need to get the highest score, which is pretty harmless for the most part, except for the levels where landing headshots is not enough and you have to go out of your way to shoot every little yellow capsule and make it to the end just so you can get enough for that high score. Being stuck for up to an hour repeating the same level until I got that high score really killed the novelty and the mood of those levels, which is unfortunate because arcade score attack modes are perfect for replayability. But again, long time levels don't exactly make for a fun time if you're going to make me repeat them every time. But the good thing is that this problem was prevalent only on 3 of the 7 levels, at least for me. And that's because the level design and enemy placements were done a lot better in the other 4 maps. An arcade score attack mode is at its best when you can achieve the high score in a more organic way and not in a boring, grindy and tedious way, which sadly is a constant problem that keeps bringing Ubisoft down. The other good aspect of this DLC is the atmosphere. In some of those levels, it really does give you a feeling of being all alone trying to get out of the danger you are in, while the hordes of the undead try to kill you. In some other cases, even give you a sense of urgency to get to your goal before it's too late. There is even a moment where you find yourself fighting a zombie elk and a zombie bear, and it made for some really terrifying, even if bullet-spongy combat. It makes some of the eventual shootouts with the zombies or even the human enemies all the more fun. It's a shame though that all this potential got squandered like this. The only thing worse than having a bad game, or in this case a bad DLC, is having a disappointing DLC that did not live up to its full potential. Shooting zombies should be fun enough on its own to make me want to replay these levels, instead of becoming the more annoying grind the score attack mode turns some of those. In a way, at least now I understand why this DLC received such a negative reception. It would have been better to just slap zombies in one of the main regions of Hope County and craft a short story out of them, and that would have probably taken as much effort as these 7 maps did. Dead Living Zombies is serviceable, but once you try to aim for all the unlockables, the novelty wears off disappointingly fast. It's a rather sad way to end the DLC cycle for what I still believe was a fantastic base game, and that is why I'm sad to give this DLC a very mediocre 6 out of 10. I love zombies, and I love zombie-themed expansions for normal games, but I would prefer it if a bit more effort was put into those. But not all of it is lost, thankfully. I still have Far Cry New Dawn to go through, and with Far Cry 6 looming in the distance, things look promising again. Now, whether they manage to return to form or disappoint yet again, well, it remains to be seen.